The government says it is deeply worried about the growing drug abuse problem across the country. Fresh research commissioned by the state points to universities as some of the hotbeds of abuse. Youth Minister George Opariado admits the lack of credible data has made the fight difficult, but says more studies are underway. He adds that in the coming days, government will announce major plans to tackle the menace. He spoke on the JoyNews dialogue on breaking the chains, Ghana's opioid crisis. There's more on the following report.
The truth is that it is even closer than you can even imagine. And everywhere I've spoken about this opioid menace, I make mention of the fact that everybody is at risk. You'll be surprised that even within your studios, if you look well, based on the educations they give, if you start looking around, you'll find people around you who are using it. And like Dr. rightly said, when you interact with them, the kind of things they tell you, and for a young man who knows that it can extend his sexual duration, it is one motivation to keep him going. Unless he knows the dangers associated with it. Because usually when they are pitching it to you, they pitch it in a way that is more attractive. You don't get to hear about the challenges and side effects. And so it is a conversation that must be had in churches, everywhere we find ourselves. I've said time without number that this problem is even bigger than the Galamsey problem we have. I met a group from Liberia, they are drug enforcement. They came into Ghana and then were gracious enough to visit me. They shared some scary information with me. And then I was at one of the international conferences and I met another person from one of our sister countries within the West African sub-region. Apparently, he tells me that, I don't want to mention the name of the country because of international issues. But he tells me that they have already lost 20% of their youth to this drug menace. To the extent that in that particular country, they even dig dead bodies out, grind their bones, mix it with the opioids, because now the ordinary opioids don't even get them high anymore. Yes. Yeah. And I've seen a documentary to that effect. 59% of our respondents in the tertiary institutions are on one, they call it weed edibles, 59%.
Weed edibles. 15, more than half of them.
More than half. And then the scary part is the shisha and hookah. And ordinary shisha should not have been here. But I understand now they mix some substance with the shisha and hookahs that are in our various drinking spots and bars. That is 49%.
Wow, almost half.
Yes. Prescription drugs, 41%. That is where and these are tertiary institutions. Codeine, cough syrups, 23%. Inhalants, I hear there is something called balloons or something. They blow.
The inhalants are not those ones.
And so which ones are the inhalants?
The glue, the turpentine.
16%. Whoa. And then you'll be amazed to know that 12% of our university and tertiary students are abusing cocaine.
Well, joining us in this very important conversation is URO at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Norris Bequin, and a local NUCS president at the University of Ghana, Prince Apia Dankwa, and they're joining me via Zoom. Well, let me start with you, Prince. This research suggests universities as hotbeds of drug abuse. From your perspective, how real is this problem on campus?
Yeah, hello. Thank you very much. A very good morning to all your viewers. As the minister said, I mean, as a student activist and then as a student leader, I would not deny the fact that there are people dealing in drugs on our various campuses. But to set the record straight, University of Ghana is a school that is bounded by rules and regulations. And so as we speak now, as I said, I cannot deny that there are issues of drugs on campus, but then these students do not do it in the confines or the various spots on campuses. But then there are certain bushes and then areas around campus that students go and then hide and then take drugs. Because, I mean, looking at the rules and regulations of the school, if you are being caught, you might be dealt with. And so that is what is happening on campus. Yes, I mean, when you walk around campus, you wouldn't see people using drugs on campus. But then during the evening time, when you see bushes and then places that are very dark, I mean, you see that students are dealing in drugs.
Okay, but you say they don't do it directly on campus, but do you know of any students who are engaged in a drug abuse? Maybe specifically what types of drugs are they using?
So currently, one of the drugs that I know that most students are using is the tramadol. I mean, you see people and then they always take the tramadol. And then also, weed is one thing that most people also take as well. Yes, weed is also part of the drugs that I've seen students taking. Even sometimes within our various halls, you'll be in your room and then you see or you just get a smell of weed coming into your rooms. And then, I mean, these people hide within certain dark places to deal in these drugs. And so, yes, I mean, weed and then tramadol are things that I think that most students are dealing with. For cocaine that I heard a minister talking about, I mean, I myself as an individual has not seen cocaine before. And so that is something that, I mean, I cannot talk about. Yeah.
But, I mean, do they have a direct access to this, or these are also laced in, you know, edibles like the minister said, maybe biscuits or, you know, other food items?
Yes, so I have heard of some toffees that I remember, was it last week, there was an encounter that I had with someone, and then the person was just trying to inform me that this is a toffee that when you eat, it gives you energy, it helps you. I mean, if you want to engage yourself in sexual intercourse, I mean, it's going to help you last longer. I mean, all this. So people have some kind of mindsets around some of these things.
Okay.
And so it is true. For toffee, I have seen, but then for biscuits and others, maybe I'm yet to know that. But for toffees, I know that is available, and then most students are taking. I mean, those that deals in drugs, some of them are taking.
But Prince, what I'm curious about is your students, your school fees mostly being paid for you. You have accommodation that you're staying at. You don't really need to worry yourself much about some of these, you know, things. But what will really push a student to abuse drugs? Do you know of any of the situations that will push them to use drugs?
Yes, so in as much as I would say that, I mean, some people are just stubborn in their own ways. I mean, that is the gospel truth. Some people are just stubborn in their own ways. But then we cannot also deny the fact that some people are also depressed. Some people may also be going through a lot of things, peer pressure and then all that. I also think that contribute to the drugs used on university campuses. Because let me divert this to a very something that I encountered last 4 days. So there was this lady that I met on the roadside, and then she's a student of University of Ghana. Then she was engaging herself in prostitution at Shashi. So when I met her, she was kind of shy because she didn't expect me to pass there at that time. I was coming from Parliament, and then when I met her, I spoke to her, and looking at the conditions that has gotten her into what she's doing right now, you can see that a lot of depression. I mean, she has nobody to take care of, and then all that. And so I think that in the case of drug abuse, these are also same instances that happen. A lot of people go through a lot of stress. There are people that sometimes even need people to talk to. And so it is a matter of guidance and counseling. But then, as I said earlier on, some people are also just stubborn in their own ways. Some people are just addicted to what they are doing. I mean, it is about peer pressure. They follow their peers, and then they got into such action. Because I remember very well that in my days in the senior high school, there were these friends that I had, and then they were like, Charlie, we are going to the base. If you want to go with us, Charlie, you can just take small. It is good. And then I had made up my mind that I'm not going to do that. And so
what drug was that? What drug was that? What drug was that?
What?
What drug was that?
So that was weed. I mean, they were going to smoke weed and then all that. And then in SHS, they'll tell you that, Charlie, we are going to base, let's go. And then I was not influenced. But then I had other people, other friends that were being coerced and then influenced to do that. And then today, most of them are addicted. There are some SHS friends that now I see on the streets, and then they've taken the tramadol, and then they can't even walk. It's sometimes very bad and then very dangerous for the youth.
All right.
And so these are the things that I think has been happening on university campuses.
Just before I go to Mr. Norris Bequin, please stay with us. I want to know from you, Prince Dankwa, is the current curriculum designed in such a way that pushes so much pressure on students that they would resort to drug abuse? Is there anything of the sort?
So I'll give a yes and a no answer. A yes and a no answer because currently we are writing an exam, and then you could see that people have back-to-back papers. I spoke to someone yesterday, and then the person is having a paper today, tomorrow, and then the next day, like 3 days, continuously. And then, this is something that we studied like for 12 weeks, and then we are going to write a paper within a day. And so, people do feel certain kind of issues around the pressure that brings. But then also, as I said, if you are determined and then if you've made up your mind that this is what I came to school to do, and then this is what I am going to focus on, I'm not sure that these things are going to cross your way or block you from gaining whatever insight that you want to gain. And so that is the reason why I'm saying it's a yes and a no. Academic stress is also part, but then not entirely the reason why people are dealing in drugs.
All right. Thank you. Apia Dankwa, kindly stay on the line for me. I'll come back to you. But let me speak to Mr. Norris Bequin. He's URO for KNUST. I'm grateful for your time, sir, joining us on our desk. But what do you suppose should be the systems, placed in schools to ensure that students do not end up abusing drugs? First of all, though, do you see such a situation on KNUST campus?
Yes. So good morning, and good morning to your viewers. Let me say that the issue of drug use, honestly speaking, is a national and international news, and it's a challenge that is faced by almost all the youth across the world, and KNUST is not an exception.
Okay.
However, let me say that we have a few cases of students who are engaged in drug use. However, we have systems in place to ensure that there are preventive and management, and then in some cases where it gets to a very difficult situation, then we put the curative measures in place to ensure that these students are able to stay safe and sane to be able to go through the academic work within the university.
What are the type of drugs, in your opinion, or what you've seen so far, are being abused by these students, and in which circumstances do they use these drugs?
Well, most of the drugs are the drugs that have been mentioned earlier by the youth minister, right from codeine to the tramadol, the weeds, and so on and so forth. But we need to understand that these things do not start from the universities. I can give a classical case of a student who was coming to first year and had about almost 2 packets of weed parceled in his stuff. And so the hall master and the other executives in the hall or authorities in the hall, we do search when students are coming to school for the first time. And then we found some of these things in the bag of some few students. When we probed further, we discovered that some of these students actually started using these drugs right from JHS through senior high school. And then so when they are coming to school, they coming to the universities, they come with it. Or sometimes as soon as they come into the university, they are looking for the various places where they can find these things to buy. And so that is what happens. However, we try to ensure that we have a comprehensive counseling policy in place that ensures that right from the time students report to school, they are taken through a lot of counseling, orientation, and then we make these things available, when we make this knowledge available to them, and to ensure that they know that there are systems in place and support systems, in place to help them go through these things and then get over it.
Right. So you said when the students are coming on campus, you make your checks, but after they settle on campus, is there some form of monitoring or clampdown on the inflow of drugs on campus so to avoid abuse?
Of course, we have so many, as I mentioned earlier, we have so many systems in place, including peer counselors.
Okay.
We have the examination officers and even the lecturers who have all been taken through this orientation to be able to identify those students who are likely to use drugs or are on drugs.
Okay.
Because these things show in the academic performance. It shows sometimes in the class. You go to class and see someone who looks very drowsy early in the morning. You get closer and then you get to talk to the person, and then you find out that this person is on some kind of drugs. And so these people help with identification, and then they report these matters to the counseling unit of the university to ensure that we bring these students closer and then guide them to be able to overcome. Some of them may get to that addiction stage, and it gets so bad that they have to go to rehab.
All right.
We do that, and we even invite the parents to be part of the whole process of supporting these students to be able to overcome some of these issues. But then the problem is not actually things that it doesn't happen mainly on campus.
Okay.
These are the things that happen in maybe the ghettos, that may be in the communities, drinking bars, maybe that are around the universities. And so sometimes you don't really see these things happening on campus. You don't see the students indulge in it. Okay. You may only see signs. And then until you draw them closer to you, you never know how bad the situations are. And so we are always in constant touch, including the rolling out of several measures to ensure that we continue to identify and then put support systems in place to help these students overcome these things.
Dr. Daniel Norris Bequin, thank you so much for your time on our desk. Well, let me get back to you, Prince Appiah Danquah, just very briefly, and I'll let you off. Do you agree with some of these interventions that have been put in place at KNUST, or is the same thing being implemented at the University of Ghana?
Yes, so let me say that in as much as KNUST has their own rules, the University of Ghana also has their own rules when it comes to governing some of these things. One thing about drugs on campus is that, for instance, in the various halls where people sneak to take these drugs, especially the weed. One thing I've realized is that, when you see a student, the issue is that management wouldn't be around at that very moment. And so it is somebody that is to report. And then the punishment that is supposed to be given to this person is to suspend the person from school, of which most students wouldn't be victims or wouldn't be the reasons why someone should be suspended from school and then all that. And so that is actually the problem. But then when it comes to management putting things on the way for we to make sure that students are safe and they're not taking drugs, there are lots of measures that are currently taking place. For instance, in the evening, there are security personnel that are being sent within campus to oversee all the activities of students, of it drugs, and then all that is also part. And so the securities are doing very well. They are patrolling all around on campus. But then one thing about what he said about Care University is that when they are coming to school, probably they check them. But then, I mean, here University of Ghana, I mean, how do you check somebody before the person gets into his or her home? I mean, all the things that the person has packed, I mean, they are adult and all that. And so we don't get checked. But then when you come inside and then there is some kind of fishy things around drugs, I mean, they call you to caution you and then all that. And so that is what is happening on campus. Thank you so much, Prince Appiah Dankwa, for your time on our desk. And he's the local NUGS president at the University of Ghana. Well, moving on to Binyiri now. The National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, says it has commenced investigations into reports that some displaced persons at Dinitombo who were fleeing the Binyiri conflict drowned in the White Volta. Deadly clashes over a land dispute in the Savana regional town left 9 people dead and 29 others injured. Acting Regional NADMO Director Zakaria Mahama said 6 persons were rescued by first responders who witnessed the incident. Vice Chair of the Defense and Interior Committee, Peter Lanchini-Tobu, who paid a courtesy call on the chief, pointed out that development cannot take place in the midst of conflict.
I found it necessary to join my brothers from the other district who are just right standing behind me. And we need to make some moves. So as we stand, we are going to visit Tunaura, pay a courtesy call on him, take some pieces of advice, golden nuggets of course, and we'll move to console our brother, the Kalbaura. I know everybody living within the Kalba chiefdom are sons and daughters of Kalbaura. If he loses one soul, it's painful. And we need to go and so console him. From there, we are going to move to Solaura. And we'll do what is necessary. But all we are saying is that let there be peace. All we are saying is that let's reflect on history and ensure that our peaceful coexistence can be reactivated once again. We don't need this. Our enemy is poverty. Our enemy is deprivation. Our enemy is lack of development. I'm sure if you travel from Accra to Tuna, as I stand here and you pass through the road, you will appreciate the fact that the enemy is not one of your brothers. Your enemy is not one of your sisters. Your enemy is to ensure that this place develops.
Well, let's get on Zoom now and speak to Savana Regional Correspondent Isaac Nonya on the latest on this incident. Isaac, have all the bodies been recovered?
That the Solar District Hospital mortuary, according to personnel, is full, and they are relocating the bodies to that of Bole. But I will speak, that of Bole is not functional. They have been down for more than 3 years now, and they are moving from the body towards Wanchin, the closest area where they can deposit them. Even that of the Solar Hospital mortuary, some of the bodies are left on the floor. I will know the first day where the 5 perished, they have been buried. And the families who are, many of them who probably are not around, are those that caused the congestion of the morgue here in Solar.
Well, Isaac, how many bodies have been recovered so far? How many are we talking about?
The numbers I cannot speak to it, but what the respected chairman spoke to, which is say between 9 and 10, is what I'm aware. And then also the following day, including yesterday, 3 people passed on the Sanyare around Bola site, and those were not brought here. I believe because they had already fallen, they have sent them elsewhere. We don't know. And then the other casualties that are still being recorded, we don't know where the bodies are being sent because here is full. The injured that are being brought to Solar District Hospital.
But the issue about some displaced persons fleeing, through the White Volta drowned. Do we know how many people drowned in the White Volta?
NADMO is just to confirm the number. Apart from the 6 that were rescued, even those who were rescued cannot speak to the numbers that were drowned or not being found yet. I will speak. NADMO is making preparations to visit the site with search party to see if they can recover the bodies, whether alive or dead.
Right. All right. Thank you so much, Isaac, for that update. Meanwhile, Global InfoAnalytics is cautioning all 5 contenders in the NPP flag bearer race, particularly Dr. Asumadu Bawumia, not to be complacent as campaigns intensify after the close of nominations. The group's executive director, Musa Dankwa, says while Dr. Bawumia currently leads, his camp faces the toughest challenge in sustaining that edge. We'll hear from him. First, here's a report on the filing process by Kenneth Jesse.
The day before, it's been a very busy day here at the national headquarters of the opposition New Patriotic Party. 2 candidates, the final candidates to submit their nomination forms to lead the party into the 2028 general elections. Former Vice President Asumadu Bawumia was the first to appear here. We was met with an enthusiastic crowd who cheered him on and said that he was the right person to lead the party to victory camp 2028. And when the former vice president mounted the stage, he courted the support of the party members, insisting that they must remain united and that he is the most competent and qualified candidate heading into the 2028 general elections.
I am offering myself to be elected as flag bearer because I believe we owe a duty to this party to give her a choice to put forward the most prepared candidate for the 2028 election and the most prepared person to be president in 2029. In the last 16 years, I've had the privilege of joining each and every constituency at least 5 times to work hard on the ground and campaign and work for the MPP.
Well, the next and the final one was the former education minister, Dr. Yao Osei Educhum, who just concluded his remarks to party members, urging them to vote for him to transform the country through his education policies that he will introduce when he's voted for. He cited his record at the Education Ministry as a testament for all to see.
With our humility, we are going to begin the process. I know you know me as a former Minister for Education, and I know there are many of you who meet you on the street, and you talk about the work that I did as the Minister of Education. Yes. Having been given opportunity by the President and all that good father, I began my work transforming public schools. I began my work bringing STEM education together, revamping teenage education. Now the testimony is there for you to see. I only do evidence-based communication. What I have done is there for every one of you to see.
We live to see who will eventually lead the party in 2026 into the 2028 general elections. From the MPP headquarters, Kenneth Jesse for JoyNews.
Well, with just 3 days to the crucial polls in Akwatia, the opposition and the National Democratic Congress is gaining momentum as its candidate Baidoo overtakes the New Patriotic Party's Asumadu in the race. Fresh figures from InfoAnalytics research puts Mr. Baidoo ahead with 53% of voter support compared to 47% for Solomon Asumadu. Now, Musa Dankwa says Mr. Baidoo's surge is being powered by residents demanding more development as well as strong backing from senior high school and tertiary students who prefer him by a wider margin. Let's get some excerpts from that research. And now, on your screen, we have 3 days to the election, the poll results by InfoAnalytics. And it says Bernard Baidoo is leading by 53%, and then Solomon Asumadu by 47%, and then also Patrick, who has just 0%. Now, 57% of these voters who intend to vote is based on sympathy, hold JHS or no formal qualifications in Akwatia. And then these sympathy votes account for 4% of the priorities. Now, NPP's woes among educated voters continues as senior high school and tertiary voters abandon the NPP candidate in the election. This according to InfoAnalytics. Well, let's get some more details on this from joining us is Musa Dankwa and also the Eastern Regional NPP Chairman Jeff Konedu, also Deputy General Secretary of the NDC. We're grateful for your time, gentlemen. Let me start with Musa Dankwa. How significant is the support of senior high school, junior high school students giving or shaping the lead for the NDC candidate? Kindly unmute and speak to us.
Right. Can you hear me now?
Better now.
Okay. If you look at the demography of the respondents in Akwatia in terms of educational level, you will notice that a good number of them, 28% of them have senior high qualification, and then 28 has or have tertiary. These two blocks put together accounts for 56% of voters in Akwatia. So their views really matter. And unlike in other places where they are outnumbered by those with junior high and no qualification, in Akwatia, it is quite high. So their views is going to be very, very important going forward.
All right. Now, development issues are also at the heart of this election. What issues are really resonating with electorates?
Now, when we spoke to the Akwatia voters, now the top issue for them when it comes to this by-election, it is developmental projects. 42% of the respondents say that they will prioritize development projects over everything else. Then 15% will prioritize economy, education 13%, jobs 10%, galamsey 8%. Sympathy 4%. So you can see that the developmental projects are quite very high in terms of the priorities of the people.
And which candidate is pushing for these development issues most?
No, if you listen to the campaign that I've heard, both from MPP and NDC side, it appears it's the NDC who is pushing the narrative that when you vote for their candidate, you get developmental project because he's able to come to government and negotiate and lobby for you. Whereas it's going to be very difficult for the opposition candidate to do so. So I think that kind of messaging resonates with the people of Akwatia than anything else.
Could undecided voters swing the results in 4 days' time? Is it even relevant now?
There are about 11% of them who are undecided. And among them, they are mostly floating voters who are undecided, and those who don't tell us their party affiliation. And traditionally, and even the current dispensation, floating voters tend to vote for NDC, not MPP.
All right, but so from these results, does this give a reflection of what's to happen in 2028?
2028 is too far from now. What we are doing, this poll is for the by-election in Akwatia.
Okay. Right. Kindly hold on for me. Let me speak to the Eastern Regional NPP Chairman, Jeff Konedu. Well, Jeff, this is the result from Global InfoAnalytics. How do you react to these findings? Are they going to push you to change your strategy in any way? Unfortunately, we don't have Jeff on the line currently, but we'll try and still get him. Well, Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Mustafa Bandi, joins us. Well, this is good news for your candidate, is it not? Are you going to do anything more for this? Mr. Bandi, can you hear me? We also seem to not to have Mustafa, but I'm told that Jeff Konedo has kindly joined the line. Well, Jeff, can you hear me now?
I can hear very well. Mami, how are you?
I'm well. I hope you're well too.
I'm doing well. Thank you so much.
Great. I mean, there's this new information from Global InfoAnalytics on the Akwatia by-election that your candidate may lose to the NDC. What do you make of these findings?
Well, I've read that, but I always say that these are opinion polls that it's done. And I don't agree to that. I disagree with that poll. Being on the ground for some time now here in the constituency, I have a different opinion. And I believe that at the end of the day, the NDC candidate, Solomon Pami Asumadu, will carry the day. That is an empirical evidence that I have seen on the ground.
Well, at the heart of this research is the issue of developmental issues. And it seems the NDC is campaigning harder on, promising development for the people of Akwatia. It seems your candidate, according to this research, hasn't done much in that regard. What message is he pushing?
Well, if you talk about developmental issues, we know that the NPP government under Nana Addo Dankwa did a lot of work. Many developmental projects were done. Among others, the road stretching from Kedi to Wenchi and also to Odan. These are physical evidence. Town roads of Wenchi were started. Kusi town routes were started. These are all developmental projects that were being championed by the NPP. But now we are not in government. But a promise of development is just a promise. And we know the NDC, they promise and they don't do it. And the people of the Akwatia constituency also is very much aware of these vain and empty promises that are being chunked out. For us, our candidate has been with the youth for so many years. He's a miner. He's been doing this in the mining industry, helping a lot of people out in this constituency. And for that matter, we believe that they know he is the right person to champion their cause. Akwatia is a mining constituency, and a lot of people are engaged in that industry. And for that matter, the person who is involved in that industry can speak more and better for them when that person is elected as a member of parliament. So to promise a development and for people to believe, and for that matter, going to vote for, and a person who is with you and has done a lot for you personally, I think it's so clear a different outcome in this case. So I think what the opinion that have been.
Well, just before I go to Mustafa Bande, another issue that came up in this research is that you've lost favor in the eyes of tertiary and senior high school students who have abandoned your candidate. Why do you think this is so? Is it even really the case for you?
I think it is tertiary students and students have abandoned our candidate. It is not true. These are the youth groups we are talking about.
Kindly reposition yourself. I seem to be losing you.
Where I am, I'm in one of the villages. And,
okay.
Can you hear me?
It's better now.
Good. So for me, this started yes, but I don't believe it covers the entire constituency. I believe that, yes, FPP has a very strong foothold in the constituency.
Okay. It's just 4 days to the election, by the way. How is morale on the ground? We also know that yesterday evening, some of the youth in the area conducted a vigil for the departed MP. How does that, is that to court sympathy votes for your candidate?
No, for us, it is a remembrance moment for our departed MP. And it was done in his hometown, Wachimwenki. I was there myself. For us, it is a day to remember, a day to tell and remind the people, the youth of Wenki, what he stood for and what he was set to do for them.
Unfortunately,
we work for them, and we've asked them that they should put in to continue that work that Kumi came up to do.
All right, thank you. Let me quickly get some reactions from Mustafa Bande. He's a Deputy General Secretary of the NDC. Mustafa, we're grateful for your time on our decks. I hope you can hear me now.
Yeah, I think it's very clear.
All right. So for you, Global InfoAnalytics is getting, Akwatia by-election is in your favor. How do you react to this?
Thank you very much, and good morning to my brother. I think basically we believe in data, science, and analysis. However, our politics is more of what effort you put in place. So from the day one, we have considered this by-election as a serious one. We've been committed to it. We are on the ground, working with the people. In the last few days, we've been engaging the MPP communities and their members to partner with our candidate, because this vote, this by-election is not really about numbers for a political party, but it's about development agents and influencers. And we all know that MPP just left power in a very bad faith, deficiency in development. I've heard my brother talk about development. That is not development. That is the stronghold of the MPP. They've never developed the place. Bad road network. The people are mining. The MPP came into power, shared the land into themselves, arrested the local boys. All of these facts are there. We are engaging with them. And he talked about their candidate being a miner and his dad and that. We are in power. We are better placed to change the lives of the people than a group of people who have been in government, fleeced the republic, punished the people, shared whatever belongs to them among themselves. What can they offer? And so we are telling the people that we are in government. It's better to have an MP who can partner with the government to develop the place. Now, even in terms of quality of candidates, the MPP agree that our candidate is a quality product in terms of, representing the people of Akwatia than what they have presented, because they imposed a candidate on their party.
Right.
They did not allow an internal contest. There were better candidates that would have contested this election. The Honorable Amaste is one of them. Their own Akwatia MPP constituency chairman was interested. He's a better candidate. They followed money. That because the guy is a minor, they followed money and ignored substance, political substance. We didn't do that. Now, as we speak, the MPP have not been on the ground. It is this morning that most of them are coming in to attend the 1 week, memorial, service of our bereaved or our late MP NS Yakumi. They have not been on the ground. The regional chairman who is talking to you have never been on the ground. They were in Accra doing presidential elections.
All right.
We have been here working. And so how do you think that you win the seat?
All right. All right. So just before I let you up, very, very briefly, straight to the point, by what margin will you win on Tuesday?
I know that by and large on Tuesday, lawyer Bediako will be declared a winner to reflect the aspirations of the people in terms of what they truly want to reflect their representation in Parliament, in terms of candidature, in terms of what is prevailing being the NDC in government, who can partner with the people to change their circumstances. I believe that we'll win the seat, but I cannot tell you the margin. I'm looking at about a little over 2,000.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Fabande. Well, meanwhile, Global InfoAnalytics is questioning all 5 contenders in the NPP flag bearer race, particularly Dr. Bawumia, not to be complacent as campaigns intensify after the close of nominations yesterday. The group's, is also the group's executive director, Musa Dankwa, who is on the Zoom with us, says that while Dr. Bawumia currently leads, his camp faces the toughest challenge in sustaining that edge. Well, Musa Dankwa, how is it a tough challenge sustaining the edge when Dr. Bawumia leads by a wide margin?
Right. Again, if you look at the data we published, 18% of them are undecided. And about 9% say they will not tell us who they will vote for. And I believe the 9% are Ken supported. So I'll normally add that 9 to Ken.
Okay.
Then you have to fight over the 18%. The question is, these candidates, they are contesting for the second time. So everybody knows them. So why is 18% undecided? So you can't take your foot off the gas. You must press and see what we can do. For Bawumia, he is slightly ahead above what is required to win one time. Kennedy needs a lot more work to do, not only to win more of the 18%, and to see if he can force people to change their mind and from Bawumia's camp. So it's going to be very...
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Dankwa, for your time on our desk and the information you've given us. You're still watching JoyNews Desk on the JoyNews channel. We'll take a break. Return with business.
Welcome back to Business here on JoyNews Desk. My name is Winston Taki, and out of us business story. The Ghana Statistical Service has reported a marginal decline in the country's unemployment rate, though youth joblessness continues to pose a major challenge. Here is more.
According to the July 2025 edition of the Quarterly Labour Statistics, data from over 9,000 households show that Ghana's unemployment rate fell from 13.3% in the third quarter of 2024 to 13.1% in the fourth quarter of the same year. Government statistician Dr. Alhassan Idrisu described the development as modest progress, but stressed that the figures highlight persistent labour market distress.
In 2024, youth unemployment remains alarmingly high at 22.5% for ages 15 to 35 and 32% for ages 15 to 24. This evidence highlights the urgency of expanded and more focused labor market practices and policies, such as retraining and skilling programs to combat skills mismatch and boost employability.
He added that initiatives such as the 24-hour economic policy could help absorb the growing youthful labor force by creating more flexible and accessible job opportunities.
The proportion of youth not in employment, education or training increased consistently in the last 2 quarters of 2024, reaching 25.8% for the 15 to 24 age group and 22.4% for the 15 to 35 age group in 2024 quarter 4. This reflects persistent youth unemployment challenges and disengagement from both work and education, reinforcing the need to expand economic opportunities, employment opportunities, and initiatives and promote economic expansion. And we can do this through programs such as the 24-hour economy, which is currently under implementation, to create more flexible and accessible job opportunities.
He further urged government to expand training and job schemes, reform TVET, and provide affordable credit to boost youth and women employment.
We are proposing that there's a scale-up of apprenticeships, graduate employment schemes, and also job placement services. There would also be the need for government to reform and expand the TVET to match training with demand, especially in digital, industrial, and green economy sectors. We recommend also that government should provide affordable credit to small businesses to boost job creation, especially for women and youth.
While the slight decline in unemployment signals progress, the Ghana Statistical Service concluded that tracking youth joblessness must remain a national priority.
Now, the Bank of Ghana has directed mining firms to now control all of their dollar inflows to commercial banks. This marks a reversal of the initial directive, where the firms were supposed to give all the inflows to the Bank of Ghana. The move is part of measures to improve dollar support for the market, in addition to what the central bank offers. Dr. Johnson Isiama is the governor of the Bank of Ghana.
And all these is meant to help, improve interbank trading, in foreign FX. That way they are able to support imports and other flows without necessarily, waiting for the central bank to come in with some support. So it is all expected. It is based on what has happened, the sharp appreciation and the fallouts. Remember, some other people, certain actors also, like you look at the black markets, what we call the black markets.
That's all for business here on Newsdesk. My name is Winston Taki. Over to you, Mamisi.